Thank you. It's a beautiful day. I got to tell you, it's pretty cool when you start the day with Jenny Stanford and you finish it with Sarah Palin. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming out here, and I want to tell you why we are all here. Because we are looking at elections on the state and federal level in 2010 that are going to matter a lot. It's no longer about electing Republicans. It's about electing conservatives. Republican House, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican governor, but come June 8th, we're going to have a conservative House, a conservative Senate, and a conservative governor. I tell everyone, I was born of immigrant parents that reminded us every day how blessed we were to live in this country. They loved the fact that you could start something, work as hard as you wanted, be as successful as you wanted to be, and nothing was going to get in your way. They started their business out of the living room of our home, and 30-plus years later, it was a multi-million-dollar company. But the one thing I can tell you was, there was never a day that it was easy. There was never a day they didn't worry. There was never a day we didn't look at yesterday and say, what could we have done better? Or look at tomorrow and say, how are we going to make it? I started doing the books and the accounting for them when I was 13. It wasn't until I got to Clemson that I realized that wasn't normal. But what I can tell you is, now I realize my parents never wanted me to know limitations. They didn't want me to know the limitations of age. They didn't want me to know the limitations of gender. And they didn't want me to know the limitations of being Indian. They said, whatever you do, be great at it and make sure that people remember you for it. I can tell you when I... Thank you. I can tell you when I got to the State House and decided to run, I'd never been politically active, was not involved in party politics, but I had seen one thing happen in our family business over and over again, is how hard it was to make a dollar and how easy it was for government to take it. My parents said, don't complain about it, do something about it, and so I decided to run for the State House and ended up defeating the longest-serving legislator in a Republican primary. When I got to the State House, I saw some things I liked and I saw some things that I didn't. What we are seeing on the state level, what we are continuing to see on the federal level, is that government has no value for a dollar. They don't understand that people paid this money in. They don't understand that how they spend it matters. I can tell you the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we bring term limits to the state of South Carolina. Faces, fresh voices, and fresh ideas working for the people of this state, not the power of the legislature. I can also tell you I will not stop until every single vote is on the record and is permanent law. They can come up with every excuse in the book, and the last excuse that the Senate decided to say was that it was unconstitutional. We'll show them what's unconstitutional, because we'll remember it at the next election time. I will also tell you that it's important that we put all of our budgets and all of our spending online. You may not look at it, but if they know you can see it, they'll have to behave with how they spend it. We need to make sure we stop passing government-friendly legislation and we start passing business-friendly legislation. As an accountant, I can tell you we have one of the most band-aided tax structures in the country. We've got to look at every single tax. We have to look at every single fee, because a fee is a tax, and we have to look at every single exemption. The first thing we need to do is eliminate the small business income tax, because when you give businesses cash flow, when you give them profit margin, the first thing they do is hire people. They invest back into their state. Then we need to turn around and look at reducing and eliminating the personal income tax, because you reward people for being successful, and when you do that, people won't go to Florida. They will stop and invest their dollars here. And finally, something that I am very passionate about is I can tell you every legislator in this State House, their salary is $10,000 a year. I want income disclosures for every legislator in the state of South Carolina. Because when you see who's paying your legislators, you will start to see why policies move the way it has. When we put income disclosures in place, two things will happen. One, we will learn exactly who's paying your legislators, and they'll have to recuse themselves from votes they should not be taking. And secondly, policy will start to move in South Carolina that benefits the people and businesses of this state and not the wallets of the legislators that represent them. Ladies and gentlemen, the word that I keep getting is everybody says, do you think the Tea Party movement means anything? Do you want to tell them? Somebody in the press in Myrtle Beach asked me if I thought the Tea Party movement was dying. I said, are you kidding? We've just gotten started. You know, I've spent the last 6 years trying to get people to understand the power of my voice, but the power of their voice, so they understand that government works for them and not the other way around. But I get that you are all not here for me, and I get that you might be here for a great friend that has decided to come to South Carolina, but I want to close by saying this.
No, we like you!
I will tell you this. I am a woman that understands that through the grace of God, all things are possible. Parents that reminded us every day how blessed we were to live in this country. I am the sister of a man who fought in Desert Storm, and I still remember what it was like when we didn't know if he'd come home. I am the wife of a husband that puts on a military uniform every day and loves his job. Wave your hand, Michael. I'm the mother of 2 kids in public schools. They're right down there. And I care about what their education looks like, and I care about what kind of government they're going to have. But I'm an accountant and a small business person that understands the value of $1, and I'm determined for government to know what that's like and to let you know, and the people of South Carolina, what that feels like. I will tell you this, as we campaign across this state, I want you to remember one thing. I have never seen people more spirited about their government and elected officials so scared. It's a beautiful thing. So now I want to introduce to you someone that I am extremely grateful decided to come to South Carolina, because she didn't have to do this. And she is the one person that has taught every person in this state and this country what it means to use the power of your voice and what it means to actually understand that government needs to start working for the people again. So without any further delay, please help me welcome Governor Sarah Palin.